Hey guys, so this is my wrap up of Super Rugby this year. I did put out in one of my posts, I did ask a few people ask everyone to comment on their moments and their players of the year. I got quite a few responses. Some of them are pretty clear cut and dry of who the teams are. Other ones I had to make a quick selection of try to go through them and see what my best moments were. So the most improved team of the year was unanimous. I think almost everyone chose the Jaguares. Some people chose the Brumbies. One person said the Jaguares or the Brumbies. It was 2 cents. And then Doria said the Jaguares or the Bulls. But I'm going to have to go with the Jaguares. I think they were the most improved team this year. I think they were one of the best teams. Well, obviously, they made it all the way to the final, so yeah, we can't go anywhere past that. Most underperforming team of the year, there was a few for the Highlanders, a few for the Blues, a few for the Sunwolves. Somebody said all Australian teams. Pretty harsh that. I've actually gone with the Highlanders. I think they're probably the most underperformed team this year, even though they did make the knockouts. I just think they really tapered off really badly at the end. And it's underperforming team, so it's how they compared to the previous year. And according to the previous year, I don't think they did as well this year as they did last year. Then I asked who were the best players from each of the 3 main conferences, and then who was their best player overall. So the best SA player was a split between Khaleesi and Pollard. I've actually gone with Pollard as the best South African player. Reason being is without him, I think the Bulls would have been completely lost, and I think his game management was bar none one of the best. Khaleesi very, very close up there, but he was injured for quite a lengthy period of the season. So yeah, my best player for South Africa is Pollard. Best New Zealand player, also between Brad Weber, there was a few for Moanga, Kane, Barrett. But yeah, I've gone for Brad Weber. Most people have gone for Brad Weber. I thought he had an exceptional season this year. I thought he was the best New Zealand player by a long shot. I just thought he was incredible. Then we went for the best Australian player. Same thing. Guinea, Karevi. Was one Rory Arnold. But I've actually gone for Karevi. I think Tama Karevi is an exceptional player. He probably is the best Australian rugby player playing currently. And then I went for the best Argentinian player. And there was also, actually most people went for Matera. 1 or 2 Karevi, 1 or 2 Lavanini. But yeah, I'd still say Pablo Matera probably the best Argentinian player currently playing. I just thought he had an exceptional end of season. I just thought he was just incredible through all the games. And his games has just improved so much over the years. He's got kicking part of his arsenal. Not only can he go direct, but he can offload. Guys, he's the full package. Then best player, and no, this was really all over the place. So Brad Weber, Achia Snyman, Matt Todd, Pollard, Moanga, Sevilla. I've gone for Pablo Matera. I think he was the most exceptional player this year in Super Rugby. I thought he was just brilliant. Yeah, a lot of people would go Moanga, a lot of people would say a lot of things, but for me personally, I took the deciding vote and I said Pablo Matera was the best player this year. Then I asked 2 questions. What would you give your a vote out of 10 for Super Rugby this year? I gave it an 8. I thought it was a really good season of Super Rugby this year. Most people 7s, 8s, 1, 9. Yeah, so I think a lot of people enjoyed that. They thought that the standard of Super Rugby this year was a lot higher. And the next question was it better than 2018? I thought hands down this year was a much better year than last year. I thought there were a lot closer games. There were a lot more draws. We didn't even know until the last round who was going to go into the quarters. I think we knew who the top 4 teams were, but we didn't know who was going to go into the quarters. I just felt there was a big drop-off between the top 4 and the rest. It was a real big drop-off. So, yeah. But serious improvement. I was actually doing some stats before this, And I did notice that there was fewer tries scored this year, fewer points scored this year. There's fewer almost of everything compared to the previous year. Now that could be a multitude of reasons. Maybe it was the resting of all the key players from New Zealand. The Springboks were being rested at certain points. So maybe that was a reason, but I honestly feel that the teams were a lot closer, the defense was a lot better, the line speed was a lot better, so maybe that was an indication that the games were a lot tighter. But yeah, there were still a few blowouts, but not the same as previous years. And then we went for the best moment of the year. Now this was really all over the place. A lot of people, Sunwolves beating the Chiefs, they thought that was an exceptional part of the year. The Chiefs beating the Crusaders and the Chiefs beating the Crusaders. The three-peat for the Crusaders. The Blues finally beating a New Zealand side. The Hawaii's making the final. I'm going to say my moment of the year was the semi-final where it wasn't the Brumbies. I can't remember which. Was it the whichever, but it was the semi-final game that was played with the Hawaii's, where it was a packed-out stadium, 30,000 players. It was loud, it was boisterous, it was everything that we want Super Rugby to be. And that's where we want to have finals. That's how we want to have finals. The other good moments were when Super Rugby was played in the Pacific Islands and the full stadiums. I just thought that was wonderful. Really, really was good. But yeah, I think the Hawaii's making the finals probably the moment of the year. I think they've proven that they belong in this competition. It's proven that if it's managed right, bringing in new teams into the competition is a good thing. I think especially with this last weekend with Fiji beating the Maori All Blacks and a lot of things happening, that I think it's time to bring in a Pacific Island team, be it Fiji, be it whoever. And if it's managed as well as the Hawaii's were managed, I think it can be a really big success. Pretty hard to figure out which team is going to be dropped, because I think 14 is the right number for Super Rugby, so one team is going to have to be dropped. But yeah, with the Hawaii success, maybe it's time to bring in another Argentinian side and have two Argentinian sides. I think that would be great for Argentinian rugby. It'll make the travel factor a little bit better, because when you go to Argentina, you could play two teams as opposed to traveling there and traveling back. So you could spend a little bit longer there. Maybe bring in a Pacific Island team as an introduction team. That does mean there's a lot of losses of teams. So I think the structure of the teams should change just a little bit. I'm not saying South Africa will, but I think South Africa and Australia could lose a side. Maybe even New Zealand lose a side to try bring in a Pacific Island, bring in another Argentinian side, and just make it a little bit more inclusive, the games. But yeah. What was your overall thoughts of Super Rugby this year? I honestly enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I watched a lot of Premiership Rugby before this, and I really enjoyed Premiership Rugby. I think it's a lot closer and everything. But this year Super Rugby was entertaining. The games were a lot closer. There were some magnificent tries. The Crusaders are, if not, they're probably the best team in the world. I shudder to think of another team that's as good as them, a non-international side. I know that Saracens are really good, Leinster are very good, but for a team to have 10 titles under their belt, that's exceptional, and I think they can go toe to toe with almost any team in the world. But yeah, that was my overall thing of the season. Super Rugby is finished. It's finished until next year. I don't know what's going to happen next year. I think the Sunwolves should have been dropped straight away. I'm not saying that I believe the Sunwolves should have been dropped. I just think that if they were dropped, they should have been dropped straight away, because they're going to be playing next year. How are they going to find players? How are they going to find the support? How are they going to find coaches? I just think it's not a really good idea. It's really not a good idea to have them in next year. Because of those reasons, not because I don't like the way that they play, and I love their support and their crowd and their atmosphere. It's just, just pull the band-aid. I think it's time. But yeah, please put your comments down below. I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful week coming forward. And we're almost close to the Rugby Championship. some great games coming up there. I'm going to do a bit of a preview this week on all the sides for the next game. Listen, guys, I hope you guys have a great week. Chat soon. Bye.